Hello, Kevin Nemacki here, and today we're going to learn how to write the desired behavior, a critical component when writing creative briefs for agencies. The desired behavior is one of the most important parts of a creative brief. It answers a central question: what do we want the consumer to do? Or in other words, what is the response or action that we want to elicit from consumers as a result of our communication? I have our tips organized here today under a few buckets: consider, do, and don't. So things to consider. These are tips or questions sometimes you can ask yourself that help generate the kinds of information that would go into the box that we might call desired behavior. So under consider, human action. We want to think about human actions and frame things as behaviors humans would actually take. So as a quick example, you wouldn't want your desired behavior to be buy more of our products. That's not really a human-centered interaction. We want to go beyond that and identify the behavior that they would take that would result in more sales for us. But it's not simply going to be to buy more of our products. And I'll show you an example in a minute to bring that to life. We also want to think about their current behaviors. So it helps to identify the desired behavior if we think of the behavior they're doing now that isn't what we desire and how that differs from what we do want them to do. I know that's said in a little bit of a wordy kind of way, but basically before they see or hear any sort of communication or something from our brand, what are they doing? Think about that first. And then from there, think about what we want them to do or the action we want them to take as a result of the communication. Under our do column, these are tips that we want to be doing when we write our desired behavior. Action words. Quite simply, we want to use verbs. And you'd be surprised how many creative briefs get written without action words and without verbs in this section of the brief. So always think about actions. Also here, no business speak. We want to avoid business language and we want to think in terms of the way a consumer thinks, feels, and acts. And lastly, we want to identify one behavior, a single behavior or action we want them to take, not more than one or multiple things. Under our don't column, these are our watch outs. We don't want a business objective. And here we often get confused when writing briefs. I've seen it many times where we write the desired behavior or the communication objective and it ends up being a business objective. Something like driving trial. That's a business objective. That's not a consumer action that we want the consumer to take. And then being vague. We don't want to be vague. We want to be very specific as to what we want consumers to do. Let's look at a couple of examples that will help bring this to life. The first one here, file their own taxes. So that would be a current behavior. And what we're doing here is translating the current behavior and contrasting it with what we actually want consumers to do. So in this case, it's a tax services firm. And the consumers that they're targeting, the target audience that they're going after, that audience files their own taxes. Well, if that's the current behavior, the desired behavior that we want out of consumers for a firm like this might be something like switch to using our walk-in tax services. It's important to note here that this is a very specific statement. We're not saying we just want consumers to use our services. We just want consumers to buy from us. We're being very specific. We want them to go from filing their own taxes to using our walk-in tax services. This is a much better way to frame a creative brief. The second example here is a little bit different. So imagine personal care categories, consumer products. The current behavior, using home remedies and making their own soaps. So maybe this is a consumer that is very interested in natural products and pure products, and maybe they're averse to using chemicals. And so they make their own remedies, they make their own soaps, they might be combining their own ingredients in the home, presumably because maybe they view it as being safer than the alternatives. If this is our target audience's current behavior, then a desired behavior from a company that might be wanting to market to them might look something like, give up home remedies for our brand. So again, the current behavior and then the desired behavior, going from using home remedies or making your own soaps to giving up home remedies for our brand. Again, it's much more specific and we've identified the action that we want consumers to take that would result in more sales. Try these tips the next time you're writing your creative brief, and I think you'll end up with a very clear desired behavior, and it's going to make your creative work stronger. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you'd like more video tips like this in the future, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell if you'd like to be notified the next time we release a new video. And if you want more in-depth training for you or your team on how to write a creative brief and its critical components, go ahead and check out the link in the description below. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.